The Walt Disney Company believes they've found their next big star, and it's none other than Mark Ruffalo, the socialist, communist-loving celebrity who plays the Hulk, of course. Now he's in everything, including a Pixar film coming up called Gatto. There's just one huge problem for the House of Mouse. He's using Spider-Man and its upcoming theatrical release to launch an attack on Elon Musk and everyone who disagrees with his very woke agenda. It's a beautiful day, folks. Thank you for coming our way right here, somewhere sunny USA. The radio station is glistening because you're listening to what we have to say. Welcome back, one and all, where we heed the call for understanding entertainment and keeping you ahead of the culture curve. As we dive in today, swerve on down to that like button. It makes us happy every time you click it. And folks, let's continue on sticking it to Hollyweird. All right, folks, we've got this out of thatparkplace.com. Mark Ruffalo once effusively praised Elon Musk and Tesla, but now is condemning him over politics. And what is this about? Well, Mark Ruffalo the Gruffalo, right before Spider-Man, is deciding that he hates capitalism, he loves socialism, and yet the man who makes millions does not want to give a single penny away. Let's read about it. It says Hollywood actor and activist Mark Ruffalo has resumed condemning Elon Musk on X, which Musk owns. Ruffalo bookended the week with a pointed attack against the tech mogul, alongside posts about political and environmental issues and calls to block the Paramount Warner Brothers merger. However, in a classic case of the internet never forgets, a resurfaced video from 2014 began circulating online. At the time, Ruffalo had nothing but high praise for the Tesla founder. All right, so let's see here. First of all, the tweet that he calls him a monster says, "You were once going to save the world and abolish poverty. Instead, you've ensured the deaths of hundreds of thousands. And for what?" Ruffalo wrote. "Your own greed and hubris. You had such potential. Squandered. You are not Iron Man, that's for sure. You are not a hero. You are kind of a monster." So take that if you're a fan of Elon. But this is what Mark Ruffalo once upon a time had to say about Elon Musk. Here we go.
You could lease a solar system from Longevity or Solar City. You could get a Tesla. You could get ride a bike, a motorcycle, electric motorcycle. There's lots we could do. So when they put solar on your house, they cut your energy costs by 40%. They keep 20 and they pass 20 on to you. And you never have to pay a dime. I have it on my house. I see my bills. Once you see the bills or you see your neighbor doing it, then that whole argument loses credibility. And I believe that this is a social justice aspect to this as well. The new technology that hasn't rolled out yet is the new battery technology developed by Tesla. They're piloting that in California right now. They'll put a battery system in your house. Your solar feeds the battery. If there's ever an emergency, another climate disaster, you're not sitting without energy for 2 or 3 weeks. You're drawing off of the power of that battery system, and you're no longer reliant on a utility. That is the wave of the future, and that's what will give people a sense of peace about their energy. They're creating it. They're storing it. Your car will be parked in your garage, and you'll be drawing off your car while you're...
I love this title, actor and activist. And I got to say, too,
Activist.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, activist. I love that. Mark Ruffalo, basically a spokesperson at that point for Elon Musk and Tesla.
He basically says that Elon Musk is the only billionaire that's doing anything about the environment.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look now at how he views Elon Musk and, dare I say, capitalism. This is the cartoon he just posted from the Seattle Times. Elon Musk dines alone, says, "What are you staring at, African kid?" And basically it's claiming that Elon Musk is the reason that, kids are starving. That's what it says, okay? Mark Ruffalo says, "Hello, Elon Musk. This is how you are perceived. Not too late to course correct, but it's getting pretty late. You certainly have the extra money on hand to really help the people of the world instead of the hell-bent road of chaos and destruction. You are ludicrously barreling down, put down the cat straw." Folks, I want to remind you as well, Mark Ruffalo knows what he's doing. Spider-Man's about to come out. He's using Disney's Spider-Man as his chance to get this message out to the maximum.
Yeah.
All right, let me show you the response to this because it's the ultimate takedown. This has been trending everywhere, and then we'll get the panel in on this. Ant Speaks posts this in response to Mark Ruffalo, who I find just to be one of the most hypocritical, awful people in Hollywood. And that's really saying something. He says, "Hey, Mark, you are worth around $35 million while continuing to land major Hollywood roles. You could donate $25 to $30 million tomorrow, and you would still live an extremely comfortable life for the rest of your days. At a conservative 4% safe withdrawal rate, even a remaining $5 to $10 million would generate roughly $200,000 to $400,000 a year in passive income, several times what the average family earns. On top of that, you own multiple luxury properties, including a New York penthouse reportedly worth about $7 million. And you're still taking on film roles that pay millions. Lecturing others while sitting on tens of millions yourself is peak Hollywood. As for Elon, his charitable giving has far exceeded your entire net worth tenfold. And as for the idea that he can simply solve world hunger by writing one giant check, only demonstrates your fundamental misunderstanding of how global hunger actually works. It's not a problem that disappears because one wealthy person transfers money into the system. You need a basic economics lesson and a mirror, because your hypocrisy is matched only by your lack of self-awareness. And again, 80,000 likes. I've joined in that one. 4.2 million views. Panel, this drives me crazy. I'll go to Lauren first on this one. Lauren, drives me crazy that the Hollywood elites think they can still get away with this. They are the beneficiaries of capitalism to the maximum, but they are ungrateful. They are hypocritical. They say they love socialism and communism, but they give nothing of theirs away. Lauren, I think that Mark Ruffalo is the worst of them, because not only does he do that, but he also waits until Spider-Man's about to come out to maximize the damage he might even do to that movie after he has a guaranteed payday.
This is why I disagree with collectivism at a very base level, is because it is used by those who preach it to say, wouldn't it be a virtuous and great thing to do this? And since we are so rich collectively and have so many resources, shouldn't we do this because we do? But you are speaking on behalf of those whose situation you do not know. You do not know what they have in the way of resources or what challenges they have to overcome, but you are using your own perceived virtue to spend their money. Put your money where your mouth is, Mark, or shut up.
Yeah, and I want to get this up on the screen. BleakCon Pro says, Spider-Man is a Sony movie, not a Disney movie. And Jonas, that is correct. However, Disney does participate now in Spider-Man movies, and I believe they put up 25% of the cost on, is it marketing? I forget now. But Disney also gets 25% back on profit. So Ruffalo is hurting Disney. He's hurting Sony. He's hurting Hollywood.
Yeah, they do have a cost sharing agreement on that one. It's a gray area, but at the same time, Ruffalo is, for all of the things that he can point the finger at Elon Musk for, he's fine when Disney does it. There's literal atrocities that Disney has patted on the back in the credits of their films, but he doesn't speak up on those. The other thing I want to point out is, didn't Elon Musk offer billions, if not tens of billions, to give to the UN to literally solve world hunger if the UN would just agree to an audit of how those funds were actually spent?
That's correct.
And the UN said nothing back.
They said, take a hike.
Yeah. To me, this is really fascinating. And forgive me, I think that people like Elon Musk generate so much wealth and prosperity and technological improvement that if they're not participating in social programs directly, the tax dollars that they pay, by the way, Elon Musk, largest taxpayer in human history. So if you are under the misguided idea that the government helps people, then you should love Elon Musk. He does more through employment. He's created more millionaires than any employer in human history. And we're talking rank and file people, not like him saying, you there, you there, you there. We're going to have our boys club. There are SpaceX employees that became millionaires overnight because of the cost sharing systems that were in place for SpaceX. And Mark Ruffalo wants to complain that U.S. aid, the most inefficient way to help anyone, and more likely line the pockets of grifters and politicians than any other thing that has ever existed in the history of the planet. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous for Mark Ruffalo to say these things. Go back to the hairdresser, go get in your makeup, put the dots on your face, and roar at the screen for a little while, please. That makes more sense.
Yeah, and we're not here to glaze and praise Elon Musk. Listen, I think he has saved free speech. I also think he makes some mistakes. But, I think this is just so ridiculously unfair, unrealistic, and I think it's narcissism unchained. Carol, the difference here is mind-boggling. Elon Musk has basically revolutionized the electric car industry, and maybe just flat out the car industry. He's figured out rockets in space in a way that no other company's been able to. He's launching more rockets than countries. I mean, we can go on and on about what this man has done, and some might try to say, well, it was other people underneath him or whatever. Listen, he's in proximity to success in a way that almost nobody ever has been, right? I mean, he may be the Rockefeller of the age, but with better marketing. Carol, what has Mark Ruffalo done, okay? In comparison to Elon Musk, Mark Ruffalo landed a role where he pretends to be a nerdy guy, and then the other 70% of the film, they do a CGI green monster man that he doesn't actually play, but it's what people love. And he plays the nerdy version that everybody's waiting for the green monster man to appear. In the world of accomplishments, he's not a doctor, he's not a mechanic, he's not an engineer, he didn't solve world hunger, he isn't an ambassador to any country. He plays a nerd in movies until the green monster man shows up, and he thinks he can chide Elon Musk for not doing enough. Muted still, Carol. On StreamYard.
Somebody must have muted me. I don't know why. I don't know why he's like this. I mean, if he really wants to make some changes in the world, there's some volunteer work that he can do, definitely. I know, there's a lot of programs that he can join where he can go make a difference. He can donate to charities. I know a lot of charities he can donate to that are in need right now. There's Women in Need. There's comic books for kids. I mean, there's plenty for sure. I think he's just a mouthpiece and a Muppet at this point being used by somebody else. And they seem to have some idea that his voice actually carries a lot farther than it does, and it really doesn't. So I'm not really sure why they thought that he would be the champion for this, because last I checked, all the people he's campaigning for don't actually like him. So he's not even the man's man at this point, and I think we're all just kind of quietly waiting for him to go away. So
I think some of the movements he's doing politically too, and we're not political, we try not to be, but Marv, he is promoting democratic socialists, and I think it's starting to concern the Democrats actually that so many of these DSAs are winning. Mark Ruffalo is entrenched in this, and he's going to continue to be a voice that's out there signal boosting this movement that may not be something the mainstream is interested in, because he's in movie after movie after movie. Disney has promoted him. This time it's Sony, but Disney has promoted him. He's in the next animated thing from Disney. He's in, of course, everything, the Hulk, and yeah, I mean, he's everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he is everywhere. He's annoying everyone everywhere. He is just the biggest loudmouth in Hollywood. If he only brought the passion that he brings to his loudmouth political activism to his roles, maybe he wouldn't be a terrible actor. Them downgrading from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo is one of the biggest downgrades in Hollywood history in terms of the Hulk. I loved Edward Norton as the Hulk. I think Mark Ruffalo is absolutely terrible as the character. And that was before I knew that he was, a complete and utter whack job. It goes beyond that, even Pro. Like, I don't know, Disney continues he says things way worse than anything Pedro has ever said. And Disney continues to, give him all of these roles. He has full on, said things about the president that are libelous. And I don't understand how he has not been sued yet. Or slanderous, I should say, because he speaks it. Yeah, it's absolutely wild that Disney continues to play ball with him, and they continue to allow him to be one of the faces of one of their most valuable brands. I can only imagine how much longer it's going to go, because the more time goes on, the worse he gets. He only gets louder and louder and louder. And if Disney were to close the door on him, I think he'd be done, because he's never going to work for Paramount or Warner Brothers ever again, because he has made himself the face of the anti-merger campaign over there. So yeah, we're going to see what happens with him, but it's going to be interesting, because he will not shut up.
I think you're right. I think he's going to keep talking, and Disney and Sony and all these others, they're going to be sorry eventually, because this guy, he only knows one thing, and that's activism towards power with a capital P, or is it a lowercase p? I don't know. But it's part of communism, socialism. He's a nut job just like Pedro. He's Pedro 2.0. When you stick around for the entire video, it really does help the channel. And we're so appreciative of that, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that you would stick around and hear everything we have to say. The studio is glistening because you're listening. each and every day. If you're not yet subscribed, well, you should be. And click that like button. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.